Let's talk about dysregulation. I'm going to teach you two terms, hyperarousal and hypoarousal. Talk to you about how they differ and how they are actually trauma responses and how you can start regulating yourself better. Let's get into it. Hey, Boo, thanks, Lavanya Tryon Scott here, author, trauma and relationship therapist. But most importantly, you know I'm in this journey with you. So we hear this term dysregulation all the time, right? And as I'm teaching you about window of tolerance, let me teach you what dysregulation means. Dysregulation is when, if we think about window of tolerance as this circle, right? It's this river, and it's where things are even or they're in deep, and that's where we want to stay. Dysregulate is when I start to drift outside of my window of tolerance. Here's the thing about dysregulation. This is not crashing out. This is the start. And what we want to teach you is to notice signs of dysregulation so that you can start to bring yourself back into the window of tolerance or start to do techniques in order to widen your window of tolerance for certain triggers and situations. So, when you get outside of your window of tolerance, your autonomic nervous system starts to take over. This means that you are more likely to go into survival mode and a trauma response, which is an involuntary response, as opposed to get to your thinking brain. So, let's talk about each one separately. Hyper arousal. Now we all know what hyper means, right? Hyper arousal is characterized by higher levels of anxiety as well as higher levels of excitement. So this is where you have fight or flight. This is those trauma responses that are in hyper arousal. Either I'm going to fight because I believe that I can win, or I am going to flee, which means that I believe I can get away. Hyper arousal is when you will have an extended overactivated sense of anxiety, fear. You might have rage, you may have anger, defensiveness, panic, hypervigilance. All of these are symptoms that I am in a hyper arousal state, which means I have excessive activation or energy. When I am in hyper arousal, I'm in constant go. So if I'm in constant go, it actually makes it harder for my gut to naturally digest food. It makes it harder for me to sleep. I feel like I have racing thoughts. My brain is constantly on and I can't simply rest. Hyper arousal, fight or flight are the typical trauma responses that you will experience when you are dysregulated from a hyper arousal. Now, hypoarousal is the complete opposite of hyperarousal. Hypoarousal, you will see the freeze, the fawn, and the flop trauma responses in there. These are because this is when my nervous system has learned to lower the activity in order to keep me safe. You will often see disassociation in this state. You will see numbness, no feelings. Like it's like I feel like I'm empty, like I'm stuck, depressive, lack of energy, an inability to think, respond, or act. You will have reduced physical movement or you will have a shame. So, this may be in that moment when I am facing a trauma that I can't get out of. So, all I do want to do is sleep, or all I want to do is comfort eat. It's hypoarousal, which means it's associated with lower levels of energy and activity. So I'm going to overlay a graphic that allows you to test your own dysregulation response. Do you typically fall within hyperarousal or do you fall within hypoarousal? Screenshot this, take the quiz, and let me know your results in the comments. I love you. Follow for more. Stay tuned for more videos on Window of Time and learning how to heal your trauma with me. I love y'all.